Hello and welcome to the Saltwater Report. I'm Bill Hitchcock. It is November 10th, Monday, and we have got a lot of stuff to get out to you, a lot of exciting things going on. It's a transition time of year, things are changing. We got a fishing report to get out to you, lots of blackfin tuna going on, speckled trout are about. Bluefish as well. We got viewer catches. I mean, these are the best reports ever when it comes from you guys. And I'm not just saying it because it's you guys. It's details, it's concise, it's got pictures. We got viewer catches to get out to you. We have marine fisheries news, lots of that. Satfish wind forecasts and water temperatures, sea surface temperatures, coastal weather forecast, and a whole lot more. Let's jump into the news. The North Carolina Marine Fisheries Commission will meet November 19th and 20th at the Holiday Inn Resort in Wrightsville Beach. The meeting is open to the public and will also be live streamed on YouTube. Agenda highlights include a review of southern flounder management, upcoming changes for striped bass in the Tar, Pamlico, and Neuse rivers, and an overview of new reporting requirements for both recreational and commercial fishermen that go into effect December 1st, 2025. Don't forget that. Those wishing to speak during the public comment can sign up at the hotel before the comment period begins. Written comments may also be submitted online or by mail. The full agenda, meeting materials, and live stream link are available at the Marine Fisheries Commission meetings webpage. I highly encourage everybody to go send in your comments, go show up with your comments, just to make your presence known. All right. Some other information that I want to get out to you. The Division of Marine Fisheries will host 3 meetings to hear from the charter boat and for-hire fishing sector about challenges facing the industry. Primarily, the mandatory harvest reporting and other concerns raised by attendees will be discussed. The meetings will be at 6 p.m. at the following dates: November 13th at the Division of Marine Fisheries office in Moorhead, November 18th at the Cape Fear Community College, and December 2nd at the College of the Albemarle. For more information, contact Coral Sawyer at 252-515-5527. Now, let's jump on into the fishing report. No, I tell you what, let's not jump on into the fishing report. Yes, please, Bill. That's why we're here. Let's go on and take a look at our Satfish report, see what the wind conditions are and the sea surface temperatures. Time for the wind and sea conditions and the sea surface temperatures is being brought to us by Satfish, the satellite fishing technology folks who give us this information both in real time and forecasted. What you're looking at right now is Monday morning. The winds, as you can see from the land, it's going one direction out to the sea to another. On the northern Outer Banks, it's blowing about 12 knots. Pamlico Sound, about the same thing. Down in front of the Bogue Banks area, Jacksonville area, a little bit stronger, 14 knots, 15 knots down in the Cape Fear area. What's it going to be like tomorrow? On Tuesday, the wind's coming more easterly, and take a look at that as that cold front comes on through. We've got 27, 28 knot winds here on the Outer Banks. Down here in front of the Cape Lookout area, 20 knots. Down here, Cape Fear, 14, 15 knots. Wednesday, what happens? The wind shifts. It's coming more out of the southwest, and we've got winds at 30 knots out here. Oh boy, at the Outer Banks, Pamlico Sound, 25 knots. Down here in front of the Crystal Coast area, 27, 28 knots. Cape Fear, same thing. Thursday, does it die down? Well, yes, it does. The wind shifts. We got 20 knot winds out of the northwest, out of the Outer Banks area. Down here in the Raleigh Bay area, 20 knots. Down here in the Cape Lookout area, about 14, 15 knots. And down here in the Cape Fear region, about 8, 9 knots. Now, let's go on to Friday. What happens? Why, looky there. As we're getting ready to go a-fishing, the winds die down. They're still out of that northwest direction, but 7, 8 knots. The Outer Banks down here in the Crystal Coast area, 5, 6 knots. Down here in the Cape Fear region, we're looking at around 4, 5 knots. So it looks like hopefully come this weekend, the winds will be die down and conducive for our fishing. Now let's take a look at the sea surface temperatures. This is now the raw. Again, all that purple is cloud cover when I'm doing this. So I'm going to go to the 3-day composite. 3-day composite, a couple of things I want to point out that here in the Albemarle Sound, we have water temperatures in the 50s now. It finally broke the 60 floor, and we're down into the upper 59 degrees in the Albemarle Sound. In the Pamlico Sound, it's still a little bit warmer, 61, 62 degrees all throughout the Pamlico Sound area. Now, the beaches, as we work up, I almost forgot that. Let's go on up here. Virginia Beach, 60 degrees, 60 degrees. Oh, and then we get in towards the Cape Henry, listen to me, Cape Henry area. Boy, I'm a North Kakalaki boy. 59 degrees, but the beach water temperatures, and I'll zoom on in a little bit more here along the Outer Banks, is around 63, 62 degrees. Keeps that pretty consistent. You can see some warm water coming in here. You see the 9-fathom rock. It warms up to about 70 degrees as you work on past that. Again, the magic dividing line is Cape Hatteras, the shoals right here. These shoals have warmed up a little bit, but you've got 65 degrees here on the North Beach, and you come on down here, you got 67 degrees, but you can see this warm water. This had worked all the way in a couple, 3 days ago. Bad Bottoms is around 70 degrees, but you got that cool water all the way in front of the Ocracoke, Portsmouth Island area. Again, though, it's still warmer than the northern Outer Banks. Let's work on down here, the Cape Lookout Shoals area. Again, that's cool. The George Summerlin Reef, the reefs around it, the trawler buoy, they're around 65. So this is great. I'll just stop. If you're a king mackerel fisherman, fish here. Now, on our last Thursday show, when we worked out here, the 90-foot drop, it was in the cool water. Look at it now. It goes from 67 degrees, the 90-foot drop, to 75, 76 degrees on out here to the Big Rock at 78 degrees. So that warmer waters has moved on in since last Thursday at our last show. I'll pull back out here. Here's that great big barrier of 65, 66 degree water temperature that just covers this whole Onslow Bay area until you reach down here in the Cape Fear region. It's a little bit cooler, around 65 degrees, consistent all the way down into South Carolina. And here out in the Gulf Stream, it's a pretty consistent 80 degrees. You get some warm spots around 81, 82 degrees. So that's going to be like that for a little while longer. All right. We'd like to thank Satfish, the satellite fishing technology folks, for supplying us this information. Go to their website, satfish.com. Satfish.com, there's so much there that they have to offer. Take a look at what they got. Let's take a look at some of our coastal weather projections. It's brought to us by the National Weather Service. Let's take a look at high temperature projections. You're looking at Monday along the coast of North Carolina. It looks like pretty much about mid to upper 50s on Monday. What happens on Tuesday? And there's the cold front. The cold front hits the coast of North Carolina. Upper 40s in the northern Outer Banks, 50s everywhere else. On Wednesday, does it warm up? Why, yes, it does. Here we got about 60, 62 degrees up and down the coast of North Carolina. On Thursday, it cools down 1 or 2 degrees. On Friday, it goes on and stays pretty much the same thing. And I'm going to try to take a peek into Saturday. Pretty much the same temperatures. It warms up a little bit more down here once you hit the Cape Lookout area down to Cape Fear. And I'm going to see if I can scratch into, well, that's the Sunday projections. It looks like it's getting ready to warm up a little bit more. Now, let's look at probability of rain starting here on Monday. It's wet. I'm here in the Crystal Coast and it's raining, so we got like a 60% chance of rain pretty much everywhere down except for the Cape Fear area. On Tuesday, when it gets cold, well, 27% chance of rain, 11% chance of rain, almost no percent chance of rain on Tuesday in the Wilmington area. Wednesday, they're saying no chance of rain up and down the coast of North Carolina. Thursday, no chance of rain up and down the coast of North Carolina. Friday, same thing. Oh, let's look at Saturday. Can we squeeze out Saturday? Well, they're saying Saturday, same thing. And Sunday, can I squeeze out a little bit chance of rain? So it looks like it's going to cool down. It looks like the wind's going to calm down by the weekend, and it looks like we're not going to have too much to worry about in terms of precipitation. This weather has been brought to us by the National Weather Service. Cold front coming on through, fingers crossed by next weekend when most people are able to go fish. The winds will be calm, the temperatures will be cool, and we don't have to worry about rain. All right, the fishing report. Rigged up charters out of Nag's Head to say we were able to get out today. Surprisingly beautiful weather. Started off slow, ended up with a nice catch of blackfin. All of us hope for yellowfin to show up soon, but we got to take what we can get. You're going to hear that story again. In-game sport fishing out of Oregon Inlet says nice catch of blackfins today. Still waiting on the yellowfins. I tell you what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting for the bluefin tunas. Now's the time. Now's the time. You may recall about a week or so ago, we had a viewer send in video of a bluefin tuna swimming in front of Atlantic Beach out of the Bogue Banks area. They're here. All right. On the day before, by the way, in-game sport fishing, they ran up to the northeast this morning to try a new piece of water, hoping for tuna. We found no tuna, but thankfully, we found some dolphin. All right, Hatteras. This is a friend of mine, Bertie McCants, a.k.a. Bait Waster. He says, fishing the Hatteras tournament this past weekend. He says, bait waster on the beach for the 32nd straight year. He says, newbie on the team caught first scoring fish on his first catch. So the first, brand new guy, first catch, boom, he catches the first scoring fish. Now I want to show you this. These guys, you got to have fun with it. This picture, there's a road sign that says men working at where they're surf fishing at, but look at the yellow flag, that is a skunk. And what they do as soon as they catch their first fish, they hang that skunk flag upside down so they're not skunked anymore. Again, it's called recreational fishing for a reason. Avon Pier, big drum still. Dylan's Corner in Buxton, they say congratulations to our awesome catch, RJ Soika. He caught him a nice shark. Frank and Fran's out of Avon, North Carolina. They said, what a beautiful day today. They're talking about yesterday. The reports mainly consisted of sharks and rays, but we have a few nice ones. Caleb caught his first drum today, and it was right in the slot. Perfect for dinner. Congratulations are also in order for Easton from Currituck. He caught his personal best drum on Avon Pier Friday, measuring 47.5 inches. Red Drum Bait and Tackle in Buxton, says Michael the Mullet Man, Creech, with another cooler full of sea mullets. Nice blowtoads to show up. Blowtoads to show up finally. Nice bluefish, both on cut bait and lures. The day before, this is a Saturday. There was a bluefish blitz on ramp 48 and 49. And they go on to say, it says me, who's this Kara speaking, Ricky, Sammy, and Tammy catching on cut bait, lures, pink chartreuse, and a new rig, the new rig Sea Wolf Spin and Glow Bluefish rig. And of course, they got them. Hatteras Harbor Marina on Saturday said a couple of big boats headed offshore today to take advantage of the pretty weather while we have it. Hatteras Blues had good catches of king mackerels. Inshore boats, Black Pearl, had good catches of sheep's head to make for happy anglers. Now down in Ocracoke, Trade Winds Bait and Tackle. They say Jim and Sandy Wadlin and their friend Ron from Troutville, Virginia, caught red drum, puffers, and sharks on their trip to Ocracoke Island last week. Ron got to land a shark as his first ever saltwater catch on fresh mullet from Trade Winds. Now in the central coastal area, we got some video to show you, and I'm going to talk over it. Captain Andrew Campbell from Flying Fish on the Fish Charters. He said, I'm a guide out of Harker's Island and fish between the western beaches of Beaufort and Drum Inlet, and occasionally offshore. Right now I'm in albacore season, and it's been pretty spotty the last couple of weeks in comparison to years past. So one of the more consistent bites we have is bluefish. I thought you might like seeing what a half acre of blues looks like. This was taken a day ago on the east side of Cape Lookout Shoals. They mainly consisted of 5 to 8 pound blues, but some larger fish were in the mix. We hooked and landed one that was 13 pounds and saw bigger. Captain Andrew Campbell out of Harker's Island, thank you very much. Carrie Benton. All right, a little nepotism here. Carrie Benton and Sylvia Rolla. They were in the Fish Against Addiction tournament this past weekend. They said, we got our three-peat. What a fun day of 7 solid hours of constantly catching fish. I spoke with Sylvia yesterday, and she said, we caught hundreds. And she's talking about speckled trout. And I said, well, you know what, doesn't. She said, no, we caught hundreds. So they fished all day long. There was 3 of them. They didn't count. They were 12, 13, 14-inch size speckled trout. It was in the Beaufort area. That's about the only thing I can tell you. All right. Flying Tide Charters out of Atlantic Beach, the North Carolina Inshore Grand Slam for the Flying Tide Charters crew today. They wanted to mark sheepshead off of their bucket list, and we were able to do that. A nice one here at over 7 pounds. Also caught lots of reds, gray trout, speckled trout, sheepshead, flounder, and bluefish. Bluefish. Bounty Hunter Guide Service out of Moorhead said redfish and bluefish kind of day. Mount Maker Charters out of Moorhead. Video oh boy, just watch this. This is one puppy drum with no spots on his tail. Another that probably had spots but has no tail. So it was a bluefish attack. They said like a 10-pound bluefish came up and ate it, and it said steady fishing today with speckled trout, red drum, sheep's head, and a few small black drum. Cape Crusader Charters out of Atlantic Beach said, great trip today with lots of action. All the drag screaming and rod bending bluefish blitz you could stand. I don't know why my mouth isn't working today. Let me do that. It says, oh, I forgot to mention the speckled trout also. Now, we got some video from the Captain Stacy out of Atlantic Beach, and this was this past Saturday. You can see all of those fish. It looks like some snappers and ringtail pinfish and a whole bunch of stuff going on there at the Captain Stacy. Glad to finally get some video back from them. Congratulations, Captain Stacy out of Atlantic Beach. Now, the bill collector, the Morehead City Waterfront, said, great day with Ronnie and 3 generations of McAdams. 6 nice wahoo. One weighed 66 pounds. Another one weighed 53 pounds. Both of those are North Carolina citations. Now, if you're wondering about the very open of the show with a puppy dog looking at the fish, all right, the Von de Kay out of Carolina Beach. They said this morning's bite was slow, but it picked up right after the moon rose again. We saw groupers, snappers, bass, grunts, houndfish, jacks, triggerfish, etc. Thanks to all who came out. And then Von de Kay asks, it says, where are my internet smart fellows? Can you turn this into a meme? That's grayback staring back at a huge trigger fish. So get up with the Von de Kay out of Carolina Beach if you know how to make spiffy memes, what have you, with the puppy dog looking at the fish. I think that's pretty cool. All right, moving on down to Surf City Pier. It says Enos in Marcia with some nice mullets. Now there's just that one picture because there's Sea Mullet City there at Surf City Pier. It's Sea Mullet City. So head on down there. The Johnny Mercer's Pier in Wrightsville Beach. They said our Mullet Classic is this Saturday, November 15th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. $20 cash entry with payout to the top 3 heaviest. Also there at the Johnny Mercer's Pier, Mike Foy catches a 16.7-pound black drum. Also there at the Johnny Mercer's Pier, plenty of sea mullet and bluefish. Jolly Roger Pier out of Topsail from Saturday. So here's Chris with a whopper 5.5-pound pompano he caught on a sand flea this morning in the surf. We've had a good Virginia mullet bite on the pier overnight, and then it slowed down after sunrise. It's always at nighttime for the sea mullet. Sunday morning, this is yesterday, an update. Lots of small speckled trout caught this morning. Cooler weather is on the way for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then moderating Thursday. We should see more trout with the cooler temperatures. Yipper! Feel Good Fishing Charters said this morning we snuck out 6 miles offshore just as the south-southeast wind began to howl. Hitting that sweet spot, we dropped our lines, and boom! Black sea bass bite exploded. We loaded the cooler with some nice hefty beauties in no time. This afternoon's run delivered some epic battles with massive stingrays, cow-no rays, and a smattering of quirky bycatch. I wonder what quirky bycatch is. Oak Island Fishing Charters said trout and drum have been keeping the rods bent and should get better as the cold front comes on through. Now, viewer catches. Yay! This is my favorite part. Jeff Rosenberry said pictures from a couple of weeks ago at the North Carolina Beach Buggy Association tournament. Kevin Ryan with a 41-inch citation and Tim Alger with a 42.5 citation. Adam Ditterman says, hi, I caught this angel shark at Ramp 43 in Buxton, North Carolina on mullet while I was reeling in small black drum and double bottom rig. Adam, congratulations, Adam. Devin McInnish. Again, I got rented lips today. It's Monday morning. Showed up this morning by my 7-year-old Evelyn. She had the big fish of the morning, pinfish fishing in Carolina Beach Basin. It's a crowd pleaser with a family and about the closest thing to a guarantee when it comes to fishing. Devin, and he is so right. Devin, thanks for sending that on in. I love pictures like this. I love stories like that. Again, this is recreational fishing. Let's go out and have some fun. Now, this is a long report, but listen. Comes from Primo. He says, went out of New Topsail Inlet and fished from the breakers to 2 miles-ish out until the wind decided to have some behaviors about noon. I love that. The wind having some behaviors. Water temperature range from 65.5 to 68, just through jigs, at all columns, water columns he's talking about, from surface to 35 feet. Caught many blues from 12 inches to 20 inches and a few small trout before retreating to the creeks. The mouths of marsh creeks were extremely active with the incoming tide. Through spec rigs reeled slowly along with various plastics, including paddle tails, shrimp, and swim baits, all producing blues, several trout, none over 15 inches, half dozen flounders, 2 over 15 inches, probably 10 reds ranging from 10 inches to 21 inches, bass all under 13 inches, and of course a few of the highly prized lizardfish. Yeah, you're going to catch those. Basically, you can lean over the boat with one hand and grab a fish. Well, there you go. Wednesday afternoon, best of all, I had pretty much zero competition, which is like a dream. Peace be with you, Mr. Hitchcock. By the way, this show, we do a show on Monday and we do a show on Thursday. The show on Monday is talking about the past weekend. Show on Thursday is getting you ready for the coming weekend. Why? Because most people will be fishing on the weekends because they're working, have school, what have you. But if you can sneak on out in midweek, this is the time of year for it. I don't care what kind of fishing it is because no one's out there. So go out there and have fun. All right, email me, billhitchcock@mail.com, billhitchcock@mail.com. Send me your pictures of your fish catches, big fish, little fish, weird fish, strange fish, great fish. Don't care. And I also don't care if you're a charter boat captain or a pier or a bait and tackle shop, experienced fisherman, first time you've ever been out, send stuff in. Show pictures of rigs. What are you fishing with? Show pictures of baits. Show things like that. It's a lot of fun. So email me, billhitchcock@mail.com. All right, that's all the time I have for you today. Until next time, see ya.